All good? Okay. So we will call to order the regular meeting of the historic Saugatuck City Historic District Commission meeting for April 3rd, 2025. Sarah, could you help us with the first item, which is roll call?
Here.
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 Patterson.
Here.
And Stringer.
Here. We have a quorum. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions? Just the one?
Yeah, just.
So we are removing 131 Griffith Street off tonight's agenda because that was able to be administratively approved. It was a like-for-like roof replacement.
Do a motion to move into administrative approval so that it's still in the minutes that it was administrative
Yeah,
approval.
that sounds good.
You want to move that?
Sure.
I move
Easy for you to say.
move the 131 Griffith Street to, under new business to the administrative approval.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to read both A and B sections of the approval meeting section minutes? One was the regular meeting held on March 6th and the other was the special meeting on March 13th. And if so, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Okay. Are there any public comments on tonight's agenda items? On screen, no. In the audience, no. Is there any unfinished business? If not, we'll move right into our two agenda items. The first is 673 Lake Street. That you guys? Come on up and introduce yourselves and let us know anything that's not in the application.
Absolutely. So that's maybe the first line of business. I'm Ryan. I'm part of JLH Pools and this
My name is Joel Pitch, part of JLH Pools as well.
Thank you.
And so we had a project proposed for 673 Lake Street. And then when we submitted the proposal on March 23rd, we had given basically everything that we could think of to kind of show you what we were doing in there. We gave 3D descriptions of the buildings and the layout of the pool and all that kind of stuff. Upon reading the memorandum that got sent to you guys, we saw down here that basically we're going to be put into the VB new construction principle, if that makes sense. And in reading that, number 2 in there talked about architectural styles of the building, and they don't necessarily need to follow the principal structure, right? So when we originally designed that, we were very strict to
Yeah, roof pitches, everything was to match the house
we
exactly.
picked gables and all kinds of stuff to match the house perfectly or whatever, right? However, we think that really the best use of that space instead of gables and all this stuff would actually be a flat roof that's lower profile. So instead of the layout's very similar, but the proposed changes here, if I can maybe hand them
Yeah,
out.
and we know this was last minute.
I know this is last.
Come back, so.
Thank you.
So this,
Yeah, we could share.
this, when you're in the house here, this structure.
You have it?
Sorry, this structure blocks your view quite a bit.
Right.
That's the old one, the old version.
The old
version.
Yeah, the new version is in the same spot, but it'll show, it's just gonna be a very low pitch and it goes from high to low this way instead of
Okay.
being gable.
Okay,
We were trying to match everything to the house exactly. That's what we thought we were gonna have to do.
okay.
But when we read through that, that's what the new version says, and it's just a very slight pitch from here to there, and it drops. This point right now is at like 18 foot, and we can get it all the way down, so it's only not like 14 foot by doing that, and it will not impede the view from the house or the neighbors, view that it could impede. So
as you're looking this way from the house to the water, you have this giant roof in your way that's like this,
Yep.
right? And if it was a flat roof instead, going like this, you just have the skinny roof profile. It's in the pictures there. You have a
Yeah.
picture too.
I wish our view really looked like that.
It changes the view from one to the other quite a bit.
Speaking with the homeowners, they would very much rather have it lower, be able to see, and it won't, not blocking the neighbors' views, a lot less of their views.
So that's the most major change.
That was the major change to everything. Otherwise, the decks, the pool, we have samples of every single thing that we want to use there.
All the materials.
Top.
Pool coping, the patio around it will be pavers. We have the veneer stone and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the changes that come from there were, I included a fence detail because we were lacking that in the original as well. So there's a fence detail, a proposed
Oh, in this one,
change
okay.
to the building. And then we removed the sunken fire pit that was in the original plan, and it's just yard space now instead. So those were the couple changes we encountered.
So the fire pit is no longer.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Okay. We'll just send it around the table and then we'll
Yeah.
maybe ask some questions. Russ, can we start with you on your end?
Yeah, thanks, gentlemen, for being here this evening. So I've numbered the pages, make sure I can keep this straight. So what I call number 2, this is the proposed change, correct? Yeah, so this
That's
is what we're
we
looking
wanted
at.
to do.
Yeah.
We would like to do that and not this anymore. The structures. Yeah, it's just the roof is changing and we would put a metal roof on that. Because it's such a low pitch,
Mhm.
it would be a black metal roof that we brought a sample of instead of the shingles, which we have the sample of the shingles to match the house.
Right.
But
Okay,
The slope allows.
we'd like to see it. It would impede everybody's view way less
That was the.
from their house and from the neighbor's house, so.
yes, thank you. And I know from the comments in the packet from our planner that this would not have any impact on the historic district itself because it wouldn't be seen from the public right of way, which is true. The thing that, and not necessarily a holdup for me, but when we talk about public right of view to the historic district, that includes water view too, not just street view.
Correct.
And the home is, I think that's a former Galen. You may remember the names Galen. Anyway, so the view from the water, I think, has been greatly impacted by a lot of the properties already where most folks consider the historic view of the Saugatuck to be, and especially on the water, be kind of just a rolling lawn out to the water and, not much else, maybe some patios or things like that. So, that pun intended ship has sailed, right? We've gone well past that in most properties, but I'm now starting to think about just not the public right of view from the street, but also from the waters. People are on their boats and they're driving through and coming through the channel, through the lake. They're like, this place is really starting to look built up. So again, no criticism against your property individually, just thinking generally what our role is to think about what the entire historical view of this is, not so much the materials. I think I appreciate the changes that you've made. I think it is in more keeping with kind of the aesthetics
Sure.
and the view that people expect.
Mhm.
If you look up and down, north or south from this property, you'll see others that have like small old artist studios and small buildings and things like that. So,
Their next door neighbor, like, you could.
Yeah,
right here,
yes,
they have
exactly.
a giant garage that's on the property line.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
built- It's
Right
built
behind
on,
that. there's
yeah,
a-
and we are sticking 10 foot off the property line.
Right.
Yeah.
As we are, but they have a big garage like right there. We noticed that first thing when we
Yeah.
showed up. Not that matters for what we can do. but
Right, right.
right, but
I see your point in view of
Also,
view from the
the
water.
building and the pool are set back quite a bit. I think it's 63 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't-
So there is
Yeah.
quite a distance, if that helps alleviate that concern a little, but.
yeah. So anyway, the point that I'm making is I appreciate what you guys have done with the owners. I think it's moving in the right direction. I just think longer term in terms of if you look out at the water here, you'll see that people are, and again, what I keep hearing is it's overbuilt. That ship sailed. So now how do we kind of maintain what so again, I respect what you've done. I appreciate everything you put into this. I think it's a good proposal. I'm not staying in the way of it, just some of the concerns, I think, just from the Historic District Commission standpoint. So
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
I think this is in your new proposal, but in the original one that I looked at, there was no, I didn't see any specs on the fence or the height. Is that in this new
It's in
one?
the new one, the very first sheet should have. Specs on it. It's basically a 58 inch high fence, just under 5 feet,
Okay.
just under 5 feet.
That's black metal.
Black metal,
Black
aluminum,
aluminum. It's-
three rail,
You can see through it, it's not.
see through
obstructing.
for sure.
And where, help me out where this is compared to this is,
So the fence will be
Same.
10 foot behind the building here is the property.
oh, I see
Yeah,
it now.
well,
Okay. Oh, okay. I see
Fence
it.
runs down.
Okay.
Both sides, it just, there's already existing fences there, but old.
Okay. That was my big question.
Thank you. Keith?
There's a shed that you're demoing, is that correct?
That is correct.
it is getting done.
And that's right in that same location?
That's just
Okay.
a little bit from here. If you were
Yep.
looking at this view, it's a little bit farther.
And then do we need to also add that to our list of things, a demo permit
Yeah,
to take down the shed?
yeah, we haven't issued any,
Okay.
zoning
Yeah,
or demo.
it's like a 10 by 12 shed.
Yeah.
That shed is
I just
also
didn't know
right on
if-
the property
I didn't know if
line, so-
HDC had
Oh,
to
yeah,
do
there
that.
it is.
There it is.
So yeah, that shed is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
This pool that's existing currently is broken and
Mhm.
dilapidated, so the original problem is come fix the broken pool, right? Come to find out, this pool is also much too close to the water and much too close to the property line to meet any current regulations as well, right? So in part of fixing that was kind of readjusting where it sits in the landscape and that kind of stuff.
Is that concrete or vinyl liner?
It's vinyl liner, vinyl liner.
Yeah.
The new pool won't even start till
Right.
pretty far on the other
Way
side.
behind
Where it actually
where it
starts.
currently is, right? Yeah.
Is that gonna require some tree removal?
It will require a couple of those big trees to be removed, absolutely. This one here is that's a honey locust, right? These other ones are decent, trees, but they're gonna have to remove for the pipes that are gonna be going through there, they would mess up the pipes.
Keith, keep, that's it. No, John?
As far as materiality, the house has stone on it, right?
Mhm.
Does this new stone match exactly?
Exactly,
does,
this is
yep.
what we have.
Yep.
Okay, and is the siding gonna match?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cedar lap siding.
Mhm.
So the only difference is the wood element
Or
from
the
the
metal
house?
roof?
The roof is different.
And the ceiling, the wood that's going on the ceiling, so and with talking with the homeowners, we're gonna, if you can go back to, I guess, the one picture of the new structure. There's a wood tongue and groove ceiling going in it, which we have samples of here that's gonna be stained. And the homeowner would actually like to do that wood on the house as well, if that would be allowed.
Meaning like the decks that are already wood?
The ceilings of their.
Oh, okay, what about, okay, and the deck is.
So right now, the decks there are wood, they're treated wood decks, not stained.
Okay.
And we are gonna rip those, we're gonna reface the deck with we're gonna take all the treated lumber off and we have composite. lumber.
So there's gonna be a connection to this with the house, with the wood too?
Exactly,
Yes.
so it'll be exactly, so
Yeah.
it's a house and the building.
All the colors all
Yeah.
work together and are very similar with the decks. Also, one of the decks, if we look at the structure, the deck comes off the back of the house and has little.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the angle off of one of the corners so that we can put in a grill island along that side.
Mhm.
So the only change structurally to the deck is just adding onto that one corner, about an 8 foot by 8 foot triangle.
Okay.
And then just taking off all the rest of the decking and then just resurfacing it with composite.
Okay, and then as far as massing, I think it's a much improved lower profile. I think that's good.
Yeah.
To minimize that. I don't have any other questions.
Are you guys okay with the metal roof? Instead of shingles? I guess that was
Mhm.
we could do either
Okay.
one, but we thought the metal might hold up better over time.
That won't even be, that'll be barely visible, to be honest.
You've made this, with this, your revision, you've made it way more modest.
Yeah.
And I think the metal is more modest to go with it. This feels like a little lean-to versus a whole outbuilding, which I think is,
It got quite a bit shorter and
um,
that was our goal.
So go back to what you said about putting wood on the ceiling of the house. Is that inside space?
No,
Or the
it's outside
porches?
Porch. They have a back porch that runs along the back.
Yeah, I
And
see
if we
that.
were allowed to, we would like to do it. If you can, if there's a picture of the.
I,
front of the
I got
house.
it, yeah.
Yeah, so this whole porch ceiling here,
Oh, yeah.
it's
These
about
points
6
are
foot
back,
by the
yeah.
whole back of the house. Right now it has, it's just, it's like painted plywood. Wood, it's just white painted plywood here, and on the front of the house, when you pull in the driveway. There is the same about 6 foot porch that goes where their front door is, up to their garage, and they would like to put the wood here and on the front of the house. If that's possible, I know the front of the house now is, you can see it from public right away, so. if
Yeah,
something
that's-
We can't do, then we are 100% fine with.
It's,
not, but we
it's not
can
necess-
All of them.
it's not necessarily something you can't do, but now you're into the house with changes. So,
Indeed.
If
and
that-
that's not, that you're not painting that, right? So the house will look different.
Correct. The house is gonna be painted white, and then the structure is gonna have a wood stained ceiling. So it is gonna be different.
Oh, so you're gonna paint the ceiling of the,
I'll say, no, it would
of
be
the house, roof?
stained.
You're gonna stain it to match the outbuilding roof.
Correct. We wanna take the wood that's gonna be in the outbuilding and actually move that onto the house now, so that it all matches.
Mhm.
So sticking on the outbuilding for a minute, I think I'm good with all that. I agree with all of your comments. I am a little, nothing related to this application, but I'm just gonna note it so it's on the record. I feel like our consultant is again very specific about this is not in the public right of way and therefore, or public view. And I feel like that is misguiding for an applicant because we consistently talk about the Riverview being a street view in the district.
You just said.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I don't know, I feel like we're putting applicants in a tough spot when there's a statement like that that's so absolute without sort of letting us help guide that too. So that's more editorial. I just would love for us to remember when we talk with them.
Chair Stringer. Sarah, could you go to page 14, please? I think this is a good representation of kind of where I am on this. And you'll see here that the surrounding properties, it's, much like I think people expect to kind of see what this looks like, right? It's a expansive green. Of course, the pool's already there on the property that we're discussing this evening, but this is the general thing that I'm talking about is that the public right of view from the street. I appreciate what Jim has said, but frankly, the boats have the public right of way too, and they have the views. And so again, back to my point. So, but I think this is a good representation of kind of the point that I'm trying to drive.
Yeah, but it's really important on the street because it's the main
Yeah.
street into town and this is, all cottages up and down here. So reinforcing that view. I'm not a fan of, I feel like we're unwinding the house a little bit by putting unfinished wood on the ceiling. I get that replaces plywood and it's probably a nicer touch. That doesn't feel right to me only because a voice of one, it sort of makes it feel more disjointed and more non-contributing. But I would guess that the owners are trying to connect it, obviously, and make it feel like one voice.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's the end of the world. I'm just gonna say that out loud. It's not a
As soon
deal
as we
breaker
talked
for
to
me,
them,
but feels-
They asked if we could do it on the house too, so that it did match, because they wanted it to match, but if that's what's gonna hold up the whole.
no. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just
Okay.
kind of bringing that up for,
Just curious, did they ever consider painting the columns on the new structure white and the ceiling and matching the house?
I don't think that was considered, but I know they were into the cedar look of the posts, right?
Yeah.
But
They were just showing pictures of a bunch of jobs we did that have the wood ceiling. That's all of this.
Yeah.
That's what they said. They wanted to move forward with trying to do the ceilings.
right,
I was thinking more of the columns,
sure.
separating the two, the wood ceiling could still be.
The bottom of the columns, it does have the stonework pillars around each one of the columns. that helps your feeling on it at all, but yeah.
I mean, I don't think we have any, we don't
mean,
have any.
We
Say
do
on
in that it's sort of, we don't, from a massing and scale standpoint, I think what you're proposing is better than that. I think I would have had a challenge
Yeah,
with
can we
this.
switch to the lean-to one?
The lean-to one is only.
It's only in our
paper form.
packet.
Oh, it's only in paper
Yeah,
form.
the
Okay.
lean-to one's
Yeah,
only
we
in
see it,
paper.
but that's what I was referring to, those columns.
Mhm.
Could be white because it just connects to the house better.
Interesting, yeah, I mean, I see that.
It's sort of,
Completely, especially now that there's three of them.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
sitting on the same stone pillars and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the first thing when I saw this, that's the first thing I thought of, but I don't know if we can say that, can we?
well, I think the bigger picture is when you start taking the wood slatted ceiling now to all the porches and soffits, it's starting to make the whole thing feel
Mhm.
like log homish or timber frame-ish.
Mhm.
And it takes the whole thing in a different direction for me, but I
I
don't
don't-
know
I-
that that's the end of the,
I don't necessarily agree if the columns are painted. I think the porches can be their own thing. I
Okay.
see it all the time in houses around here where the house is a color painted and the soffits or porches are wood.
okay.
But these columns really bother me. And the timber, the lean-to only has one,
Beam.
well, yeah, and that would be white with the columns that in my, what I'm talking about. I just think it's worth considering. It feels all really connected then to me. And maybe that would be enough for them to have if we can approve this wood ceilings on a house, then they're the same. I don't, that doesn't
That's
bother
fine.
me.
Just remember, you're not approving that. You're approving
Right,
three
I
and one
just-
beam.
Yep, I said it's this and that would be white, which matches the house more.
Okay.
And then the wood ceilings on this could be done. And also on the porches and then
Less-
everything's
less of a
connected.
disconnect.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we could approve that.
And actually, this ties into some of the things that I've been bringing up in terms of what this is gonna look like. That would be more in keeping with the style of the house already.
Right.
I
If
support
everything's
It's a connection point.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really, I mean, you can pick what you want. Yeah.
Well, and so just to be clear, we're not saying that white looks better as a choice. We're saying that white is a connective,
It's a connecting
is a
thing.
connection point.
it.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
Yep.
100%.
So you have all vertical white.
Guarantee there's zero problem. And if we have to, submit documents saying that before we can do it, whatever we have.
Well, it would be part of our approval. We would
Yeah, we'll
put that in the
we'll put it
motion.
motion.
But if you guys agree with that, then I'm really comfortable with the connection. And this is, people call who live on the water, they call it the front. So we have to be thinking about that.
Yeah.
100%.
Good, that's a good point.
I think that's, no one will have any problem.
I think they'll say absolutely.
I agree with you.
So.
I agree with you 100%.
Someone like to make a motion?
yeah, I'll give it a shot here just a moment. Go back to that page.
Okay.
Come on. I move to approve the new pool house patio. The fire pit is no longer part of this, so I'm gonna remove that. Fencing and resurface deck at 673 Lake Street in accordance with the plans and details submitted, the revised plans and details submitted within the application materials. Approval shall be subject to the following condition, that the posts on the pool house be white to match the house.
Do you have a second?
Other conditions?
I'll second.
Wait,
Second and then discussion.
second.
Yep.
Will seconded. Yep.
Oh, you forgot the ceiling on the house.
Oh, I apologize. And that the ceiling of the house be also allowed to, how do we want to say this?
Be resurfaced with.
Same way the pool house is.
Yeah, be
Yeah, tongue
be
and groove.
resurfaced with the tongue and groove that will be on the pool house. Did you get that, Sarah?
Any more, just, any
No.
other clar-
Is that on you said on the deck, on the house, right?
ceiling of the porches front and back.
Right. Thank you.
Porches.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the only clarification is, where do we say that we're adopting this shed roof versus the peak roof?
Russ
And
said
do-
it.
and do- Are we gonna reference this document for traceability.
I thought I referenced it in the motion,
Well,
It's-
let's, you said the new as
Yeah,
in our
the new.
packet, but
Yeah,
let's be more specific.
okay,
however you want to.
Maybe let's just reference the new shed roof outbuilding as presented in the packet in the meeting.
I'm comfortable
That'd be
with that.
great. And
I'm
then,
sorry, Tim, you said
The new shed roof version that's in the packet for the meeting.
If you want to read it back, we'll help you with.
Yeah.
and this last question,
That was a
I'll
tough one.
keep interrupting here. This fence that's shown on the new packet is the same as the one in the old packet?
There was no details in the old packet. It simply
Okay.
showed its position in the
Okay,
plot,
so
right?
we need to refer
Add
to
that.
that on this packet too, because we're not saying anything about that, are we?
Good point.
Okay. That's all I.
So Sarah, inclusive of the revised fence profile that's in the packet submitted tonight or in the drawing submitted tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we could actually date this.
Your loss.
What?
So how about
Kidding.
I'll restate what I heard as the motion and the second.
Yeah, let's start.
the big motion is the.
The conditions,
Post on the pool, is white to match.
current house.
The current house. And then the ceiling on the porches of the house be surfaced with the tongue and groove.
Wood.
Which matches the
House.
pool house that's in the materials provided today. And then the third one is the fence. Was also in the packet materials from today.
And then last one, do we need to say anything about the structure that we are approving to remove?
If you wanted to note that, you approve of the demolition of the shed, I think that's a good idea too, because I'm not 100% sure.
And what was the current fence? I'm sorry.
Including the fence as submitted in the revised packet. And then the last thing Keith brought up is inclusion of the demo of the non-contributing tool shed.
We actually have that. That's part of our, we have to give that permission, right, to have structures.
I'm actually not sure of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. I'm pretty sure that's something. So I support.
I don't-
Where I lived, I had to get permission for everything.
Yeah,
Demolition of the existing pool.
I don't think we
Yeah, that's not
need to
ours.
do that.
Right there.
But-
I just thought of it.
So motion on the floor, we're still in discussion. Anything else on that demolition? Anything else on anything? Anyone wanted to include? Sarah, you good?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your patience and
Guys,
your
thank you.
cooperation.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your input.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Please, yes, it's not, I thought a couple of things, it sounds.
Yes,
it's.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing the changes. Thank you.
Can we just see the wood? It's real wood, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the color.
Oh, nice.
Real
Mhm.
time.
That's nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
120 Mary Street is the next
you,
application
gentlemen.
and last one for tonight. Looks like we have Michael on the phone with us. Hello.
Hello, how you guys
Welcome.
doing?
Good, how are you? Welcome back.
Good. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to the application we have in our packet?
No, just to remind you, it was a reduced scope from the original packet that was submitted. That we had a pool and a hot tub, a spa, and we reduced the overall build in the back there to just have the spa.
Great. Nothing else
No, nothing else changed.
from a structure standpoint or anything?
Right, no, it's just that.
John, we'll start your end. Any questions, comments?
Questions?
Keith?
No, no questions.
Will?
None for me.
Russ?
No questions.
And it notes on the application that the spa's a little bigger than it was before, but the pool's
Yeah,
not
it's got the
there.
dimensions on there.
The
Right,
overall hole in the ground holes in the ground are less than what was there before.
correct.
Okay. if there's no more comments, do I?
I'll move. I move to approve spa and rear yard landscaping at 120 Mary Street in accordance with the plans and details submitted within the application materials. And there are no any other conditions.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
As well. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Say hi to any Spoolstras from Russ Gardner.
If to Scott, okay. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Have a good week.
You too. Next is administrative approvals. Anything you want to mention on this, Luke?
No, I reached out and apologized to the owner of 131 Griffith. I held him up for a week. He was trying to do a re-roof and I was under the impression that that was coming to us. I apologized, refunded the difference and issued the administrative approval.
Problem.
We also had a patio that was in the rear yard of a commercial structure on Griffith Street. That one, they had pea stone gravel and they were replacing with, or they plan to replace with concrete. After I sent out the agenda packet to you guys, I did issue 2 more administrative approvals, which will be coming on next month's packet. So obviously me and Tim have spoke about a bunch of them, so I assume you're like, well, this is less than I thought they would be, but they will be coming to you next month.
Great. Thank you. Are there any public comments? No? Okay, are there any more commission comments? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, that was a perfect time for a sneezy second. All in favor signify by saying yes.
That's my second, sure.
Yes.
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 All right, we're adjourned. Thanks so much, everyone.